Jacobite you call me, and the Jacobite I am. I stand for Scotland's laws and rights, I am the loyal man. And if bad God in here, they kill me and I die. The grave which I inhabit, it's Jacobite as I. I'm proud to be a traitor, cause it's to a tyrant crown. Against all form of slavery, I gladly stand my ground. I'll no accept the union with shotgun it was made. My rising won't be over until all debts repaid. It's the Jacobite you call me, and the Jacobite I am. I stand for Scotland's laws and rights, I am the loyal man. And if that blood in your yet kill me and I die, the grave which I inhabit, that's Jacobite as I. No more we'll take handouts with the caps in hand. I'll see the servile chains of faith broken in this land. And I'll see my people honoured with the life that they deserve. And I'll fight them with my dying breath, and that you have my word. It's the Jacobite they call me, and the Jacobite I am. I stand for Scotland's laws and rights, I am the loyal man. And if that blood in you, they kill me and I die. The grave which I inhabit, that's Jacobite as I. There'll be no more clearances, except will clear away. No longer am I waiting for a prince over the sea. Now it's in our own hands, our hope and destiny. If you call yourself a Jacobite, come and stand with me. It's the Jacobite they call me, and the Jacobite I am. I stand for Scotland's laws and rights, I am the loyal man. If that blood in mood, you kill me and I die. The grave which I inhabit, that's Jacobite as I.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from in the world. And welcome. You know, I kind of say that on autopilot now.
It's just, you've done it that often that it just rolls off your tongue. I suppose a bit like the way Ian does if there be but 100 of us. So it just becomes automatic, doesn't it? So normally I just say hello and welcome to the Man in Black. That's about it. And that's exactly what needs to be said. So it's nice to see so many of you coming in. So and evening to you, Julie, and evening, Stephen. And I'm going to break my habit. I normally don't take any notice of comments and things, apart from when I'm on just in the comments, and then I'll like people's comments. But you may notice what I'm actually doing is buying time for Alex to put slides and things together, because it's all been a bit of a rush tonight for various reasons. But we were a little bit late in coming in, but that's nothing unusual for us.
No. So we did have a discussion on, because I can just about talk and do them at the same time. We did have this discussion on. No, I'm not saying don't carry on. I'm just saying that I won't leave you floundering on your own for.
No, that's fine.
We did have this discussion on Friday about, because we were nearly on time on Friday. Well, I think we were on time on Friday, but we were saying, well, the problem is if we're on time tonight, will that mean they expect it all the time?
That's it. People get used to it, and then they start wondering where you are at 2 and 3 minutes past. They're probably not on tonight. But we're not slaves to time. Within minutes,
within a few minutes.
So
if 10 minutes late or whatever. But
I would normally say if we're not on by 8:30, then probably something's gone badly wrong.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just keep hanging on and waiting for us to turn up. Who have we got in? We've got Naz as usual. Evening, Naz. Evening, David. I must apologise to you, David. My phone seems to have stopped giving me birthday notifications. So happy birthday for a couple of days ago. I hope you had a good one, mate. Did you not know either?
No.
Oh, and you also get that from Jackie, who I'll chuck in with my belated birthday wishes. And Janet, yeah, we got Janet, Julie, yeah. It's just nice to see you all. How many have we got? 20. That's not bad by this stage. Well, my phone's saying 20. Who knows? You never know. Yeah. Okay, so that's filled in a little bit. So now I'm just hanging. So I don't know what to say now. Say something, Alex.
Say something, yeah. Well, it's the usual mad world, and I didn't get a mem done as happens occasionally on this show. So yeah. I'm afraid I've called this show "Fuck It All Free" because that's kind of where we've got to at this moment in time.
That was a great title. Yeah.
It's free because it's the third one that I've actually just called "Fuck It All." Fuck
it all. Fuck it all. I don't know.
We did have. I did have a shirt at one point. I've still got it somewhere. That because as you probably know, if you've been watching us for any length of time, we used to call this show "Fucked But Still Fighting." I did have one after that where there was "Super Duper Fucking Fucked But Still Fighting." And it kind of...
That must be no whole. Oh. Was the text smaller?
Yeah, the text was a bit smaller on it.
Right. Super duper fucked but still fine.
Fucking fucked but still fine.
I almost did buy. When it was your birthday, I thought, what should I wear to Alex's birthday? And I settled on that T-shirt with the octopus on because that has been the kind of. But I almost did buy "Who the Fuck Is Alice" T-shirt. Have you seen that one? It's like a rabbit with a fag hanging out of its mouth.
No, I haven't.
I still might buy that T-shirt. I'm still toying with that idea, but I think they're overpriced T-shirts. Up to £20, yeah, but I think say £28 or £30 for a T-shirt. It's a lot of money in it, you know. Especially when you consider, you know, they're probably knocked out in China for like 50p. Or
that is a bit ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit extortionate.
I mean, you can have a personalised one for that price, for cheaper than that, for half that price.
Oh, indeed, yeah. You get one from Albertese. They can do you anything. Albertese can not do anything up. Just drumming business
Unless
up here.
It's copywritten.
Unless it's copywritten, yeah, or something Alex doesn't like. So you ain't getting it.
It's going up to 28. No, we won't go there. Yeah. You know what I'm going to say. It's 28. It's going up to £28 if it's raise your vibration.
Yeah, you really, really want it.
That's the plan. Or anything pro-Trump.
What are the plan? Raise your vibrations. That's
And then it's 28 quid.
Yeah. That'll be 29, I bet. Yeah, £29 that one. Yeah. Or I don't know. It's Yaxley for me. Or something like that.
That one's 300 quid.
Out of stock permanently.
Permanently out of stock.
Out of stock in brackets. Yeah. Like most things I ever seem to want, it's like there's like 3 sizes of something, and there's like a small, a medium, and a large. And I think, I think the medium, that'll do. Out of stock. You can get the things that are too small or too big. You just can't get the one you want. So sure they do it. You think, oh, go on then, I'll go for the extra large and go camping in it. So, or something like that. Right.
Anyway,
okay.
the slides have actually come up now. So
Slides have come up.
if you
So,
want to start,
do you want me to start?
one, yeah, you can do.
Yeah. And go in the order that I said to you. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So we've successfully filled that little space in. So now this afternoon, I briefly mentioned, I think it was me, briefly mentioned the fact that Donald Trump is going to send a hospital ship to Greenland, of all places. And this is quite a surprising twist, but perhaps not so surprising given Trump's kind of what you might call mercurial behavior. The fact that you never quite know what harebrained scheme he's going to come up with next. So, as I say, Trump has decided he's sending what he calls a great hospital boat. I'm not sure he can grasp the idea of a ship, a boat. You've got duckies and you've got boat. That's what's in the bath. So it's a boat, a great hospital boat. He's going to send that to Greenland. The island he so recently was threatening to invade, according to him, in the interests of national security. But what he now appears to believe is that he's going to be able to do a deal, and it will be a great deal, probably the best deal anyone's ever done. And that seems to be the course that he's on now. But he's also threatened them with tariffs as well. So, it's about average. Yeah, best tariffs anyone's ever had.
The best illegal tariffs that everyone's ever had.
The best illegal tariffs, yeah. The best illegal tariffs anyone's ever come up with. Now, this future deal is claimed by Trump to not only to encompass Greenland, but he says the entire Arctic region. So I'm not sure who he's negotiating with, or who he intends to negotiate with, if he believes he's going to take over the entire Arctic region. But apparently that's, according to Trump, that's what he's going to do. And so, like I said, Trump is planning to send one of the US Navy's hospital ships. Now, the US Navy have got two hospital ships. So it's obviously going to be one of them. And one is the Comfort, which we can see here at slide 1. I want you to pay attention to this because they are very similar. So don't expect, whoops. Are you still there, Alex?
Yeah, sorry, just give me 2 secs.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right, so that's the Comfort, one of the US Navy's hospital ships. And the other one's called the Mercy, which we can see at slide 2. There you go, that's the Mercy. They do look remarkably similar, but I assure you that these boats, as he calls them, are different. Yeah, they are different boats. And he says he's got to send one of these because, and these are his own words, because many people are sick in Greenland. That's a very simple statement. That's why he wants to do it. And he announced this latest plan at a dinner for Republican governors at the White House this week. And then he posted it on Truth Social. And he declared that he would be working with the governor of Louisiana, this man here at slide 3. This is Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana. So for some reason, he's going to be working with this man in order to send this great hospital boat to take care of the many people who are sick and not being taken care of, says Trump. It's on its way, he declared. Now, Greenland's health care is publicly financed by the Greenland government, but it's also assisted by the Danish government as well. And in September, the Danish government announced an extra $245 million in healthcare funding, like I say, back in September. So that will have worked its way through the pipeline by now, no doubt. So let's look at slide 4. Now, Greenland is divided into 5 major regions for healthcare. Now, the one in the sort of middle and top right isn't really counted. The interior of Greenland is just a frozen wasteland. It's barren. Nobody really lives there, and communities, there are virtually no communities in the northern half, right up there. But the rest of Greenland is divided up into these 5 regions, and each of these regions has a regional hospital. Now, the regional hospitals on this map are marked by the blue dots. And the red dots are the major towns, and the smaller dots, smaller black dots, are smaller settlements. So the hospitals are basically located where the population is. It's no good putting a hospital out in the middle of nowhere. So they are placed where the major centres of population are. And if we look at slide 5, this is one of their hospitals. Okay, so it's fairly modern looking building, very much in the sort of Greenlandish style. And Greenland also operates an air ambulance service, and also it has rescue ships because obviously Greenland's an island. And so you can sail around the coast to pick people up. And they're important, obviously important, like the helicopters are important to get people from more remote settlements. Now, Greenland's healthcare system doesn't actually rank as highly as most of its Nordic neighbours, but some of them have some of the best healthcare outcomes in the world. So it's Greenland is doing all right, really, considering it's only really got a tiny population of around 59,000 people. So there are 5 hospitals. So that's just over over 10,000 people per hospital, which is not a bad ratio, to be honest. Now its healthcare is pretty good, and it also operates smaller community healthcare facilities in many of the smaller communities. So not only has it got the large hospitals, it's also got smaller care hospitals, care facilities. But for anything major, you have to go to the sort of regional hospital. So it isn't really clear where Trump's got this idea that the people of Greenland are sick and that they need this mercy ship, this one of these hospital boats. I mean, I'm sure people may use it if it turns up. But what makes me really think is, has Trump actually discussed this? Has he discussed this with say, the Greenland government? Has he discussed it with the Danish government? Or is this just something that has come off the top of his head? I really suspect he probably hasn't consulted either the Danes nor the Greenlanders. And this is just another, something I'm going to do. So that was just what I wanted to do, put a little bit of flesh on just something that was mentioned this afternoon. Yeah, another one of Trump's mad ideas. He's got it into his head, it seems, that Greenland is desperate for healthcare, and the Americans can come sailing in and rescue them. So I don't know. It doesn't look to me as if Greenland is in a desperate healthcare crisis. I don't know. I don't obviously can't get inside Trump's head. I don't think I'd want to, but but there we go. So that was just a bit of a little bit of flesh on the bones of that story. I don't know. Why do you think Trump wants to send a hospital ship? Do you think it's kind of PR?
Well, somebody said in the comments Trojan horse, and I'm almost inclined to agree, to be perfectly honest.
Hundreds of soldiers are going to jump out of it.
You don't sit there for several months. After, let's start at the beginning. We've got Greenland that's been there quite a while now, and been a part of Denmark for quite a while, with its whatever level of autonomy it has, and whatever level it doesn't have. But that status quo has existed for quite a while without a massive American medical ship fixing any holes or anything else. We're not now in a scamdemic. Sorry, I mean we're not in a pandemic or a scamdemic. There's not any major medical needs. What's wrong? Do they not take enough? Do they want to roll them out quickly? Or is it one way to get rid of the Greenlanders? Or is something going to happen at warp speed for all the Trump fans out there? I don't know. It makes no sense. It's like we're all supposed to be stupid and forget stuff. Because he's been literally sat there for months doing his Gollum impression. It's, I want it. Give it to us because I want it. I need it, my precious. Give it to us. It's my birthday and I want it. Or he may as well have been, because that's what I've been hearing every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah.
And about the only way we could stop him, and I put this up as a meme once and stole it from someone, but the only way we'd ever stop him talking about Greenland is if we rename it as Epstein Island. But and then it'll suddenly not exist and be a hoax. But
I think I put one up where Trump had crossed out the name Greenland and was writing Orangeland on top of it. Orangeland. Yeah.
It's par for the course considered, but then I better finish one thought before I move on to the next one. But it's par for the course the way he likes to rename everything, like the Gulf of America and all the rest of it. But then the second point that I nearly jumped to without finishing the first one is that there was the Freudian he kept making. When he kept calling it Iceland instead of Greenland.
Yeah, easily done.
Because he wants the whole region, like he's just pretty much.
He wants everything. Well, he said, I don't know where that's come from either. About what's the matter? Oh dear, sorry, the dog's decided that there's an imminent danger. Hang on.
Yeah, well, Glenn thought out somebody said Trump, and it is that mentality that everything he wants, everything in the world should belong to him. It's all big and beautiful, and it's all the best deal there's ever been, and the best option.
Yeah, I don't know where we got that idea from, that there's somehow this deal in the offing for the entire Arctic region, because I mean, a lot of it is well. Some of it belongs to Russia, and I don't think they want to give that bit away. And I think a lot of it's sort of, I don't know who owns. Nobody really owns Antarctica. A lot of it, I think. Plus, some of it's northern Canada and Alaska, and he's already got Alaska, so don't need to worry about that bit. I don't know. I'll never figure. I can't figure him out.
I don't think it's possible to figure him out. I'm not sure there's any coherence left.
No.
If there is, then it's so distracted by everything that's every stage and every step at which his own proclivities have got him into being controlled, that he doesn't know whether up's down, left's right, or thing. He says the loud bit quiet and the quiet bit loud, and he doesn't know what he's saying.
Yeah, indeed. I posted another meme tonight, which I just came across this picture, and it's JD Vance with a makeup brush and a bag of Cheetos.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that is a great little thing. So I'll say, yeah. What was the word in? Oh, you smell so good, Mr. President. I think I want to lick you, and I put Trump as saying.
I don't need that image, to be honest.
Well, Trump thinks a lot of people want to lick him. I think he was saying, "I do smell good. I'm the best smelling president ever," which apparently is entirely wrong.
True.
Yes, it's not true. I don't think he smells of Cheetos.
No, that's not what the general reports seem to say.
No.
No.
Right. So that was Trump and his latest madcap scheme to go and rescue the poor sickly Greenlanders
who aren't sickly and don't
aren't sickly, don't seem to need it. No, but maybe it is a Trojan horse. Maybe that hospital ship will be stuffed full of something else.
Well, it does seriously make you wonder, because at the end of the day, you don't sit there, which I don't know if I ever got to the end of that thought. But at the end of the day, you don't sit there going, I want it, give it to us, I want it. We're going to take it over. They can't stop us. They've only got 2 dog sleds. It's ours. We need it. It has to be ours because we need it for the defense of America. We're going to take it. We want it. And I think we'll do the deal. I think we will do the deal. I think we will get it. Oh, out of the kindness of my heart and out of pure altruistic feeling, I'm going to send them a medical trip.
Yeah.
No, they don't jowl. They don't go together. Whatever's going round in his head, if anything's going round in his head rather than a few tumbleweeds, it's not anything that logically connects that one A to B in that case.
It's some kind of, like something he must imagine it will enhance this deal that he's going to make. Well, look, I did send you a hospital ship. I won't be surprised if he said, well, you can keep it because we're going to build a bigger one, a better one, probably the best one anyone's ever seen. And we're going to call it the Trump medical boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
While we were talking now, I just got this picture in my head of Trump singing, going, Oompa Loompa Dumpty Doo, I've got another tariff for you. So
somebody wants to. I don't like ARU videos, and I don't agree with it. I would watch that one if somebody made it. I would watch that one if somebody made it.
What do you get if you've got a lot of oil? Something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure I could write that. Okay.
It's a bit more time than off the spur, then I'm pretty sure that something could be come up with. No, it doesn't. I can't make Trump make sense. It's like when we were talking earlier about the likely causes and the likely situation in Iran. What he would think Monday will not be what he'd think Tuesday. What he'd do Wednesday is completely different than his plans on Thursday. And by Friday, he's forgotten what he did in the last 4 days.
Starts again. Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much think that's where we are. I mean, I have heard it mooted that he's suffering from frontal lobe dementia.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've heard mooted.
There's potentially certain, I don't know what stage, if he is, I don't know what stage that would have reached. But there was a big thing going around of him supposedly saying that he'd have free IQ tests in such and such. And the comment was that, you don't have free IQ tests if you're having that sort of test. It's a cognitive test. And then and if it's free in so many months, they're monitoring the situation. They're not diagnosing it.
That's probably what they're telling. Go right, Mr. President. It's time for your monthly. It's time for your monthly intelligence test, because, as far as I'm concerned, you probably got even cleverer. So we just need to prove it to the world. So okay. So how many beans? If I have 4 beans and I take 1 bean away, how many beans is that?
Some beans.
Some beans. Tariffs. That's what it is. Tariffs. Don't take that bean or I'll tariff you.
Sorry, do it again. You have 4 beans and you take that 1 bean away. What do you have? 4 beans minus that one.
Exactly. 4 beans minus that one.
What does that give you? Some beans.
Some beans. Oh, you've lost me now. I've never passed that test. So
I've turned it into a mechanic quote about 10 minutes ago. But
I knew you were going somewhere with that. And I recognise this.
It's Blackadder trying to teach Wardrick maths.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Percy comes in with the massive ruff, or is it like with small ruff? I can't remember.
It's the latest thing. Yeah.
And he says, "What do you think of things?" I don't know. Well, he looks like a bird that swallowed a thing. I think he looks like a bird that swallowed a plate. No, Borderick, that's what I think. Try to have your own thought. Thinking is so important. What do you think? I think thinking is so important.
I think Tony Robinson played that. I don't know who wrote. It was a combination probably, but it was so well written. It was a masterpiece, to be honest, of satire that sometimes you can watch it again and pick up different things. But you've got the bloody script, so I would expect you to. Yeah, you're a proper fan.
I lost count of what times I've watched. 2 is one that was on the telly most when I was growing up, so 2 I've watched a ridiculous amount of times, which that is from the second one. What
the guy? They used to have a kind of singer that sang the tune, didn't they? Blackadder. Well, apparently, I heard this thing that he just used to rock up and sing that, and that they'd kind of say to him, "Well, what's this week's show about? What's the show about?" And they kind of give him a brief thing and said, "Oh, right, okay," and then he'd do it. So it wasn't actually written down. He just used to invent it as he went along.
That's clever.
That might not be true, but I'm sure I've read about that. So
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
So where do you want to go now?
Well, I'll do my first one. And as we're talking about Trump, because I haven't got slides for any of mine, so I can do them in any order in a way. Let's do the fact that apparently and the stories from today, apparently the US Secret Service have killed an armed man at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate that basically entered it carrying a shotgun and a gas can. And this is basically been reported that US Secret Service has shot and killed an armed man who entered President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. And this occurred around 1:30 a.m. this morning. And the intruder was described as a white male in his early 20s. He entered the estate's secure perimeter. He was confronted by Secret Service agents and a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy, and shots were fired by law enforcement during the encounter. The intruder was pronounced dead at the scene. No security officials were injured. Trump and his wife Melania were not at the estate at the time of the incident. So we've had, and I don't know who I was talking to. I don't know if it was on one of the shows or whether it's a conversation I was having last night about, I think it was a conversation I was having last night with relation to Iran and with relation to the State of the Union coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And the talk got on to false flags, and I literally said, I suppose someone's going to try and shoot him again now. and now we suddenly have a security alert that it says no security things were injured. So the suspect obviously didn't open fire. Yes, he had a shotgun supposedly and a gas can. I don't know, maybe he was going to try and burn something down, or maybe that's the story. Yeah. But they never seem to take any of these people alive in case they can talk.
No, that's an alarming new thing, isn't it? I mean, people tend to get killed. So obviously he's not going to be able to give his reasons or the motivation or anything like that. So, but if he wasn't, I don't know. I mean, details wise, I mean, if he was threatening them with the gun, then that might have been a reason to open fire. But I'm aware of this story, but I'm not aware of all the details. I did come across it when I was thinking about what to talk to tonight. I thought, oh yeah, but I never went back to it. I just saw it. Because somebody's always trying to shoot him, aren't they? You know,
pretty much. Yeah, can't think more.
It's a
assassination. Has there ever been?
Yeah, that one wasn't though, was it? Yeah.
Clearly not. No.
Yeah, not that was badly thought out. Because it's very hard to.
He wasn't even there. It's quite hard to shoot somebody when they're not there.
Yeah. But somebody might have been there. Somebody worth shooting might have been there. I don't know. Perhaps disgruntled. I don't know what could be the motivation for wanting to kill Trump. Who would want to do such a thing?
Can we have an easy question like who wouldn't?
Well, yeah. I suppose that there are foaming at the mouth mega types who.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a few of them around.
QAnoners who were waiting for the return of the Messiah or whatever it is they're doing. I don't know. No, but it is a regular. It has been a regular pulse throughout campaign and presidency that somebody wants to shoot him. So it just pisses a lot of people off. So. I don't know what more to say about that.
Well, perhaps you better keep that hospital ship close just in case.
Yeah, probably would be a good idea. Yeah, another one. But they always seem to be so lame as well. You know, I mean, they're not. I don't know. Not that I've ever sat and planned to assassinate anybody, but I think if I was going to do that, I'd put an awful lot of effort. Yeah, quite a lot of effort into, how am I going to do this? Where's the best place to be? When can I expect Trump to turn up? I mean, that's. I think he does. I'm not sure. He used to publish his itinerary. For the day. It used to be public knowledge. Whether or not they've stopped doing that now after the golf course one, I knew that was he was a regular attendee. I can't remember. He was doing golf with one of his big donors, and he regularly used to do that. So that's obviously why the guy was supposedly lurking in the bushes. I don't know. He's obviously some crazed loner, not
They always
organised.
are.
No. They're always crazed loners, aren't they? Yeah.
They'd probably be Iranian. It'd be
Ah,
Iranian, Russian.
or Russian. You
Because
could
of
quite
the
possibly
level of
Iranian.
propaganda that we've got to.
Yeah.
When we're back to the Kuwaiti ambassador's daughter style playbook, then we are
With the
beyond.
incubators.
We are beyond common sense. So I wouldn't.
I remember that story. The incubator story was, they just ripped babies out of incubators and left them to die on the floor and blah, blah, blah. When they invaded Kuwait. There was no truth in that. There was no there was no meat on that bone. So yeah, I mean, now where are we? We're talking about Iranians ripping out women's wombs.
Yeah.
It does have that. It does have that. Babies in incubators, 40-headed babies ring about it to me.
It does. I'm not buying it for a second because it is too. It has too much of that ring about it. And the first thing, it's funny because the first thing I typed in, because as soon as I read it, I typed, are we back to the Kuwaiti ambassador's daughter again?
Yeah.
And I read down a bit lower and somebody had said exactly the same thing, talking about the story. If you somehow did miss that scenario, the point was when they wanted to get into war with Iraq, at the point they wanted to start that war, there was this shock horror story that came out from this young girl who was a volunteer nurse in the hospital and had watched these babies being dragged out and just ripped out of these incubators and left to die, etc. And when the story actually comes out later, she wasn't in the hospital. She wasn't working in the hospital. She wasn't a volunteer nurse. She was actually the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador.
Convenient.
And this is when it all came out. This was what it actually was. And this, as soon as I read that story, and I'm not saying any situation, any regime is perfect for a second, or that anything is good, but it's too propaganda. It has every feel of propaganda. There's nothing about it rings true. It just doesn't.
I think we were having a brief conversation about this on our little chat that we have, and you can trace this kind of these stories. You can trace them at least as far back as the First World War, when there were posters put up of the evil Hun bayoneting nuns, or the evil Hun with a baby stuck on his bayonet. This is what you need. This is why we're fighting. This is why we need to go and kill the Hun, because they're murdering nuns and they're bayoneting nuns and slaughtering babies. And babies is always the one that they like to use. And babies who would not, be outraged by anything happening to a baby. Well, apparently not the American press. As far as Epstein's concerned, as far as the file, no, there seems to be a great deal of
apparently not the fuckwits that still support Trump as well.
No, exactly. So,
Trump's done nothing that he can't be forgiven for.
Oh no. Well, I did read a piece that said,
saying that incidentally.
the only reason the second tranche of the second drop of files was put out there, someone who was when I was reading about it, it said now that Trump has been exonerated.
When was that?
That was the lead on that piece. It said now that Trump has been exonerated, the DOJ feel confident in releasing another 3.5 million files. I thought I can't remember anybody coming out.
Read some of the accusations, not literally the accusations, some of the FBI reports on it. You've got things like we didn't follow this up because she forgot to ring back. Or we didn't follow this up because the phone number had been changed.
Yeah, they didn't put a lot of effort into it.
We rung her once and she never answered, so we didn't follow it up again. And this is all through there.
Yeah. Yeah. There are an awful lot of people who tried to report abuse, and basically it was never taken up. I've certainly seen that. There were literally dozens and dozens and dozens of abused girls who tried to report this, what had happened to them, and were basically ignored. So what they had to say never made it to even the huge volume of files that we've got. So that number would probably swell, would double.
For every even testimony, whether they say it's credible or whether they investigated it or not on there, there's probably about another 9 that they did not follow up, and they openly admit they didn't follow up.
No.
But I am paraphrasing this. This isn't direct from it. I am paraphrasing this, but you basically have reports on there that practically say, we had a report of abuse from such and such person, but we've decided it's not credible to be followed up because she was overly emotional about it. And I'm paraphrasing. I am paraphrasing that, but not by that much.
Seems to be far too emotionally involved in her own rape. Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but not by.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
The inclination, the implication of it is that not credible. She's not credible because she's you know what I mean? And it's like,
emotional.
No, she's damaged because she has been raped at a young age by monsters, yeah. So she's not going to be calm and collected, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. We tried to slap her till she calmed down, but it never worked. So
they as well have said that.
Yeah, exactly.
They as well have said that.
Calm down, woman.
Exonerated. Where was the exoneration?
Exactly. We haven't even got to
countless references to what he doesn't like too.
Oh yeah. In terms of what he doesn't like that. You did that wrong, so I'm going to slap you. Yeah.
Oh, I meant more the fact that we got to get some more this way because Trump doesn't like them if they're such and such race or such and such color or such and such age.
References to the types he actually wanted. I found one that you might find. I read one about Snow White as well, where some young girl was forced to dress up like Snow White, and then there was an email saying, I can't remember who it was to. It said, "I hope you enjoyed the Snow White experience." So bizarre people, bizarre, sick, nasty people, but such is the world. And hope, and the thing that really gets me is I'm not even very hopeful to any degree that anything much will ever come of this. Anything tangible in terms of people being put on trial or even have to face questioning about this. It doesn't have that feel to it. It has the feel of, well, here it is, and now it's gone away, hasn't it? Yeah, we can all go home now because there's nothing to see anymore. We've told you, and let's get on with it. And but only a few weeks ago you were telling me none of this actually existed.
It was a Democrat hoax.
Yeah, all the Democrats did it. It was all a hoax, like Russia.
And you still can't. I shouldn't just do another 20 minutes.
Soak up these lies, though.
I shouldn't just do another 20-minute rant on Trump. But you say that, and it's but they're in it a lot more. Are you telling me there's more evidence about Trump than Clinton? I literally said to somebody yesterday morning, I said to them, or typed to them. I typed to them. So, since when did child rape become worse or better? Does it suddenly become okay because it's only one child instead of 3 children?
Yeah.
Or 3 instead of 7? At what point does it become unacceptable? Is there a certain number of destroyed lives that you have to have before it's suddenly not acceptable?
Yeah, it was only low-level child abuse because there was only a low level of children involved.
Yeah.
So that makes it low level. But this one, they're really bad. There are lots of them.
They just can't see that just because I'm saying that there's a problem that Trump's in the files, that Trump is implicated in the files, does not mean I'm saying Clinton wasn't. Does not mean that I'm saying any of the other side wasn't.
No.
Just because I say something that Trump does, it doesn't mean I wanted Biden or Harris.
Yeah. I was just going to say
mean I had any time for Obama. It doesn't mean I had any time for any of them, because they're two wings of the same fucking bird.
It's that kind of black and white thinking, though, isn't it? If you're not for Trump, then you must have been for Biden.
You must have been for
because how could you be anything else? You're either this or you're that, aren't you? You know, there's only 2 ways to be. Well, there is a third way. You could be for none of them.
None of them.
Yeah, none of the above. Much like our last British general election, where myself and Alex voted Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
So that was at least 2 votes for Putin, which is pretty good considering he never ran. So,
yeah. I know there was a couple of others that did as well. So.
Well, that's great. I mean, I wonder what.
I do wonder what they thought when they read them.
Yeah, that was the best thing of all, to think, what the hell? Here's another one. Why are people voting for Vladimir Putin? Because he's a lot more fucking sane than any of you twats.
The only adult in the room. He's the
only adult in the room, yeah.
And at the end of the day, what I'm actually voting for is you will not tell me who to hate on command. None of our fuckwits are worth it. Now wake the fuck up. We're not falling for your shit.
I'm sorry. I think I'm suffering some kind of government beam attack. I've got a piercing pain.
Oh dear, not good.
It's because as soon as I said the word Putin, I got this piercing pain. That's all right. I'll carry on. I've got a tinfoil hat here somewhere. I'll get that. So I'm seriously considering making one if it works. I'm going to do every show now wearing a tinfoil hat. Right? You know, Ian's got his cowboy hat, and he's also got what are the hats? Let's see one. He also he's got like a Confederate army hat. I do like a hat. I'm normally to be seen. Obviously, being follically challenged, my head gets quite cold, so I do tend to wear a hat a lot. You've got a hat. Oh, what does your hat say?
Wolf tones.
Yeah, very, very fetching. That very nice.
I've got a straw one. I got when I went away on holiday because it was a bit hot on the head.
Well, you do need a hat when you're
hot on my head after I ended up with that bloody midge bite infection and ended up with starting to grow back. It's growing back now.
Yeah, they love you though, didn't they? They absolutely loved you.
They did. Those things were vicious, though. They weren't normal midges. They were mini midges. And midges are tiny anyway, but they were like
tiny
midges. But anyway, that's completely
voracious little bastards for the size of them. Yeah.
To be fair, we could weaponize them. No one would ever invade Scotland ever again.
God, yeah, that'd be great. It's just cross the border and suddenly you're descended on by this army of tiny tartan wearing midges. Right.
There must be a way to not genetically engineer the midges, but to teach them to only eat certain
specifically genetic flavor of them. Yeah, I don't know. I bet Bill Gates could sort that out for you.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure he would. I mean, he's had to go with the mozzies, hasn't he? You know, with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Try and modify them. I was reading this thing the other day, actually, about flesh-eating screwworms and why the American government breeds millions of them every year. And what they do is, what happens is there's a fly, and it's common sort of in South America and maybe some of the southern states. I don't know, or it used to be common in some of the southern states. And if you've got say a cut or an open wound, it lays its eggs in the open wound, and the larvae screw themselves into you and basically just munch away on you.
Oh, lovely.
And it's called the screwworm. But they discovered that the female of the fly only mates once in their lifetime. So what they did is set about breeding sterile males, so that the chances are that the male that the female encounters is sterile, and therefore she mates, but there are no she shouldn't end up with any eggs or anything. So that is the end of that cycle. And they've been breeding these things by the hundreds of millions for years, and they just drop them into like forested areas and things like that. And by doing that, they managed to virtually eradicate this screwworm from a lot of America, for a lot of the southern states.
Kind of breed it out of existence, really.
Yeah, they've bred it out of existence. Yeah. It's still common in some of the sort of more, South America type places. It's still more common, but they're continuing to do this, and with the aim of eventually trying to virtually eradicate this little creature with its nasty little habits. And I don't know how we got onto that, but I find everything fascinating. Absolutely, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't know what it is. What's the point of knowing that? It's when there are far more important things to think about. But it's just how my brain works, and probably a lot of people's brain works. And so, speaking about creepy crawlies and bugs and things like that, I created myself a link.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we were just talking the article before last again about some things in the medical field, the health service and things like that. So as in Trump's hospital ships and things like that. But so with bugs and medical things in mind, I came across this story about a 5,000-year-old superbug that's been discovered now hopefully I'll get this pronunciation right. I think it's the Scarisora cave system in the mountains in Transylvania. So we can actually see one of these caves at slide 1, part of this system. So there's one of these caves, and obviously these caves are in very cold mountainous areas, and Romanian scientists have found these bacteria inside an ice core that was drilled down 82 feet into the ice within one of the caves in this system. And the bacteria that they found would be, well, they say it's about the 5,000 year point in the ice core, which actually goes all the way back. The sort of greatest age of this ice is around 13,000 years. But this bug has been discovered at about the 5,000 year point. Let's put slide 2 up, please, Alex. Now, this ancient bacteria has been named Psychobacter SC65A3. There's no cute little name for it. Psychobacter SC65A3. And it's been found to be resistant to 10 of the 28 types of antibiotics in use, that are commonly in use today. Now, specifically, it seems to be resistant to antibiotics used in the treatment of infections of the lungs, of the skin, the blood, reproductive systems, and urinary tract. So it's a kind of broad range, 10 different antibiotic types that are used in those areas. And this is despite the fact that this organism has really existed for millennia before the invention of antibiotics. So it is resistant to antibiotics, but not because of developing a resistance to antibiotics that are being used. Now, scientists have discovered that the bacteria harbors more than 100 resistance-related genes. That was reported in a study published in Frontiers in Microbiology by a guy from the University of Hull. He's the associate professor, Dr. Franklin Nobrega. And he explained, slide 3, please, Alex. Yeah, this is Nobrega there, the guy pointing to that screen. That's Nobrega. And he explained that we commonly associate antibiotic resistance with misuse or overuse of antibiotics. But antibiotic resistance is actually part of the adaptations by organisms, bacteria, to fight other organisms in their environment. So it's a kind of bacterial warfare that's going on. And while some bacteria develop these antibacterial kind of weapons, as it were, others develop countermeasures to survive attacks from the other bacteria. And that's all because in these cold, frozen conditions, there's great competition for nutrients. Being inside, stuck in ice for thousands of years, it's not exactly a very nutrient-rich environment. So these bacteria are basically trying to bump each other off all the time, and they've developed their own antibiotics, and they've also developed resistance to antibiotics. Okay. Slide 4, please, Alex. Now, as I said, these resistant traits help the bacteria to survive, especially in cold conditions like ice, where these nutrient resources are scarce. However, what Nobrega goes on to say is that the threat of global warming could lead to these cold environments no longer trapping these highly resistant strains, and lead to them becoming much more widespread in the environment. And then he said, antimicrobial resistance, which is AMR, that's how they call it. This resistance would mean that simple medical procedures, such as going to the dentist, could become a lot more risky. It'll become a much riskier thing to do, because if these resistant strains are out there, naturally resistant strains are out there, then they'll become even more resistant once they begin to be, sort of treated by broad spectrum antibiotics. So we could actually be releasing something that could get worse and worse and worse. And kind of speaking of superbugs, that most trustworthy of institutions, the WHO, have actually released details of a superbug that is already spreading amongst us. Slide 5, please, Alex. But this time, this isn't a bacteria or a virus. It's actually a fungal spore, which causes a condition called, let me just read this so I can get it right. Coccidioidomycosis. Okay. But it's been given an easier name, which is valley fever. And valley fever symptoms are very, very similar to flu symptoms in some cases. So you might get a cough, a fever, joint pain, night sweats, things like this, that in a kind of normal infection. But more severe cases might require special antifungal drugs, special antifungal treatments. Slide 6, please, Alex. Now, this is a kind of, this is what you can kind of expect to get if you get valley fever. And when you look at that range of symptoms, it goes right across a whole range of symptoms. From, you can get a rash, you can get weight loss, you can get chest pain, muscle or joint pain, night sweats, difficulty in breathing, cough, fatigue, a whole range of things this fungal infection seems to bring on. Now, these particular microscopic fungi are found in desert soils in the southwest of the United States, and also in Mexico and parts of South America. And they're not alone, because they're one of 19 fungal species that have been deemed top priorities to try and develop new antifungal drugs, because there's a problem with current antifungal drugs in the fact that they can be very harmful to people. So they're not only harmful to the fungus, but they're also harmful to the person carrying it. And this is because fungi are far more closely related genetically to us than bacteria are. So, they're a very strange life form, fungi. They're not quite in the animal and they're not quite in the vegetable class. They form somewhere in between. And these current antifungal drugs can lead to things like kidney failure, pancreatitis, liver damage, severe allergic reactions, and even impotence. So, it's like a toss-up. Would you rather have this horrible fungal infection, or would you, or I could give you a choice of, I don't know, kidney failure or impotence? It's quite. That's why there seems to be quite a rush now to try and develop these new antifungal drugs. Mm-hmm. But if you thought that one was bad, that gives you these symptoms. There's another one on this list of 19 is far more deadly. And the WHO are warning us about a fungus called Cryptococcus neoformans. And you can kind of see I don't know what this is a representation, or whether it's like a high resolution scan. Slide 7. We got it. Yeah, it's it might be an electron microscope image. And this is Cryptococcus neoformans, which potentially can cause a deadly form of meningitis, especially in this according to the WHO, especially in those with weakened immune systems, which is quite a lot of people, I would suspect, out there. And the death rate from Cryptococcus is around 61%. So it's a pretty deadly little critter. And so what the WHO are saying is it's becoming very clear that our next big threat might not come from bacteria or even a virus, but from fungi, such as these microscopic fungal life forms. Okay, so that's a kind of look at superbugs that we are discovering, and also super fungi that we are discovering that could potentially, pose a great threat to us. What's kind of struck me though was these things have been around for a very long time. These things have been around for they've been with us the whole time that we've been on the planet. They're ancient organisms, these fungi. Why all of a sudden should we start really worrying about them? Is it the fact that it costs a lot of money to develop these antifungal drugs, or what is it about this that seems to have got the WHO in so much of a tiswas, you might say? All right, let's leave that there, and we'll take that one down, Alex, and that's a look at that with all the connotations. You can no longer say the word World Health Organization in a kind of genuine way. I think it's immediately associated with some kind of evil organization, which I think they are. Who?
Yeah. I can't exactly be inclined to wonder why it's got those immediate connotations. But so many things that strike you when you think that. As soon as they say might, then they mean will.
Yeah.
As soon as they say might, know they're planning. And why is it having an effect now? Well, that kind of happens when you destroy 90% or 70%. I think worldwide, between 60 and 70% of the world population's immune systems with some form of poison jab.
Yeah.
When you do that and the immune systems don't exist anymore, you've got you're going to be at risk of these things. But there's much more to this one, actually. There's the bit that strikes me straight from the start, and it's so you found this ancient fungi or ancient bacteria, I think that one was, in this cave in Transylvania. Why did you not just leave it there? Why did you have to pull it out and fuck around with it and see if this kills it and see if this makes it spread? Why could you just not leave alone?
Ding, 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 give that woman a cigar. Yeah. That's what struck me immediately. That's what the hell? Let's get it out and fuck about with it. Well, let's see if we can make it even worse. Let's see if we can give it gain of function. Make it a really nasty little fucker. Well, that seems to be what they always want to do.
But do you know the one thing they were doing, and this is before I really saw through, because there was a couple of weeks at the start that I didn't necessarily see through the pandemic. And I should have done, because I was waiting for it at one level. I was waiting for it from swine flu onwards. You always knew the next one would be part of the thing, but and yet for a week or two, I kind of fell for it.
Yeah.
But even when I fell for it, I was looking into it, and I found a couple of things in those first couple of weeks before I even saw through it. And that was the lab in Wuhan was looking into gain of function of viruses using viruses in place of antibiotics to fight bacteria. And that was one of the researches it was involved in. So now we're suddenly back on this looking at or concerned about and considering the antimicrobial resistance. It's not accidental. There's some plan there in that one. And the other thing I remember finding in those first 2 weeks, and it isn't immediately related to this subject, is the statement literally from the WHO that people would never accept RNRA injections unless there was some sort of major pandemic.
Major crisis, yeah.
And they made that statement before the scamdemic was ever known about or announced.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that well, what do you want to inject me with that? Well, this is going to genetically modify you. It's going to alter your DNA and turn you into a factory for producing spike protein or whatever. Yeah, I don't think I'll bother then. Yeah, no, but if there's a major people, I remember do you remember the footage from the beginning? People just falling down.
And nobody ever questioned why were people falling down with a cold virus?
Yeah, and all of a sudden there were people in complete full hazmat suits picking them up. What were they just hanging around on street corners waiting for somebody to fall over? We just hang about here. Somebody's bound to fall down dead in a minute, aren't they? Yeah, and that it's not set up. No, obviously not. No, but there was that questioning, but not on a larger scale. And the PR and the amount of suppression should have rang alarm bells in people's minds straight away. One of the things that rang alarm bells for me was the whole 28 days shit, the whole 28 days crap. You can get this thing, or actually you probably don't know you've got it because you're asymptomatic. So you're not sick, but you've got it because we know that because we tested you and you're positive. So go away, and if you die of anything, then that's COVID. Well, that doesn't make sense. You mean this man died by falling out of a window? Yeah, but he had COVID, so that makes it a statistic we can use.
A statistic we could use.
Bullshit.
It's so many things. Numbers never made sense. Nothing ever made sense. And the new normal got me. And one of the first ones that got me was this story about a guy that had been admitted to hospital on the Wednesday, and he was dead by the Friday. And he was admitted to hospital, struggling to breathe. So we put him into a medically induced coma and then on a vent. Why did you put him in a coma? Excuse me, why? What gives you the right to suddenly put somebody into a medically accused coma? There is no logic for that. There is no...
It's making things worse.
That's interference at a level that is not necessary. He wasn't unconscious, so you left him in it, which I personally don't agree with anyway. But he wasn't unconscious that you left him. You put him unconscious, and then he never woke up. And so many didn't. And that to me rung warning bells for a start. No, hang on a minute. And even with the whole we need with a shortness of ventilators. Why are you sticking people on ventilators? Why is that your go-to? They're struggling to breathe. Stick them on oxygen. Don't stick them in a fucking ventilator.
Very few people ever get off ventilators.
No, they don't.
They don't. That's just a fact.
That's a fact. Even if you take out any intent from it, very few people ever recover from that because it is a major interference in the way the system works. Yeah.
They did it to my uncle, actually. You know, I told you about my uncle who lost his leg. Well, he was put into a medically induced coma, and while he was in that medically induced coma, they cut his leg off. And so when he came round, he wasn't aware that he'd lost a leg. So they had to break it to him and say, you know that leg, this leg, my right leg. Well, that leg he used to have. That they had to tell him that they chopped his leg off. Why? I don't think that they ever sued the hospital. They sued the hospital for something, but it wasn't to do with, it wasn't COVID. It was over the manner in which they'd gone about doing something. Well, anyway, he's got a false leg now. I don't see him very often, but he was at my mum's funeral, so I was asking him how he's getting on his leg. You know, I mean, and he's hopping along. He's all right. But as for these new things, did you ever watch the series The Last of Us? Did you ever watch that series, The Last of Us? The premise of the series The Last of Us was, rather than it being like a virus that had wiped out the world and turned people into zombies and stuff like that, that it was a fungus, and that this fungus was capable of taking over people's bodies and turning them into these kind of mad creatures. And this very much seems to be where we're going. It's the WHO are pushing this new threat as being a fungal threat. And in their own words, they're saying, well, people who with exactly in the same way you just described, people with a low immune system, a compromised immune system, are far more susceptible to this. So, be worried, be afraid, be very afraid, because fungi are coming to get you. The fact that we live with these damn things, like I said, the whole of our history, all of a sudden doesn't seem to matter, because we've now not got...
But then we've lived with germs for the whole of our history. Well, if you believe in them. I know some people don't. But we've lived with illness the entire of our history. We never took we never took the reaction that we do now. We didn't avoid people like the plague. Yes, maybe we did when it was the plague, but we didn't avoid people like it was a plague when they had a sniffle.
Oh goodness, no! The absolute rampant terror that people looked at you if you coughed. You're in a supermarket and you just.
You ever want to sit down on? You ever want to get to in the middle of it? And I know we're getting back to COVID again, but it was such an insanity. You sometimes can't help it. You ever wanted to get your shopping done quickly? You just had to walk in the supermarket with no mask on.
With no mask on, yeah.
Which you ever wanted a seat on the London Underground? You just had to. You stood there with no mask on and cough next to somebody. Yes. Suddenly, the entire row was free.
Many seats as you like.
And then we used to sit there discussing really loudly at how nonsensical it all was.
Luckily, we didn't go to the extremes that other countries went to, such as Australia. Well, we all went to our own extremes, but we didn't have sort of like police hunting people down on the streets and physically forcing masks on their faces.
No, we didn't.
We didn't go to that extreme, which you saw in Australia, and I think some parts of the States you saw as well. So, yeah, but this just seems to be, they're lining up the next.
They're lining something up. The worst part is they've been if films and TV are predictive programming, they've been programming us for zombies for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And when you see some of these funguses that can take over like wasps and things like that and control them, it's a little concerning. It's a little concerning.
But I've no doubt there's some some nasty little scientist somewhere trying to
do it.
Trying to do it. Well, we know they can do it to ants, so it can do it to wasps.
Ants, isn't it? Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it to do it to people. Scary stuff. But
why can you not just leave alone? Leave it in its nice little dark cave. Let it carry on. Don't dig it up. Don't pull it out the permafrost.
Leave it there.
Other places. Don't fuck around with it. Just leave alone.
Well, that's it. Fuck around and find out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And that's what they seem to do. Right. What are we
doing
this week?
Again, isn't it? Yeah.
What we're doing this week is we're going into caves and we're grabbing hold of bats, and we're going to take them back and we're going to see what viruses we can get off them. Why do you want to do that? We might need vaccines. For what? For the viruses that these bats are carrying. Well, if you didn't bring those viruses back here, we might not need that. No, that's a stupid idea. In fact, we've got to make this virus worse so that we can make the vaccine better. Ah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, it all makes sense to me. Off you go. And here's some money.
Makes sense. No, you shouldn't have got tested. You're better not to. You're better to have done what you did not get tested. The test was as dangerous as the bloody jab.
No.
In different ways, but it still wasn't safe, and it didn't prove anything anyway because it didn't work and never did work. It was never meant to work. They just dialed it up or down depending on what results they wanted at the time.
Yeah,
the number of
various patients. Batches,
basically.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, insane.
Hey, there you go. So hopefully there are none of those things on Trump's hospital ship.
Somebody put in the comment that of Greenland have refused it. So
interesting.
What a shame. Yeah.
Oh no, you see, never look a gift ship in the mouth.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And I think whoever said it was like a Trojan horse was pretty much on the right lines in that phase. It a kind of Trojan horse. So like, well, we love you, Greenland, and you might want to vote to be part of us, might you? So you might just, it might be, it might be something in it for you. You might be $100,000 in it for you, and we do feel sorry for you. Yeah, right. Okay. Right. What have you got?
Well, the next one is another one of their constant agendas. It's the whole what you should and shouldn't eat lark. Well, apparently now France is out on it, and they're out and out lecturing their citizens about the danger of eating meat. Again, as we've heard and we've seen plenty of times, but this is the latest foot they do, and they have something called the National Strategy for Food, Nutrition and Climate 2025 to, you guessed it, 2030. And this has gone out or been, I don't know whether it's gone out as a report to the people of France or whether it's just like you see every time something like this comes up, the government suggesting it, the papers suggesting it, the media suggesting it. But it's basically going out with statistics like 32% of the adult population consumes too much meat other than poultry, 63% too much cold cuts, and not enough fruit and not enough vegetables. And then it starts obviously going on about cows and farting again, because obviously they tried to poison them and successfully managed to poison them. So they can't do that one anymore because they don't stay alive long enough to get the poison into the food chain. Or I'm not saying it didn't get in the food chain. I wasn't going to risk the chance. But this is so the story goes all on, and it goes all on about cow farting. And then you start getting that products of animal origin are responsible for the majority of food's carbon footprint at 61%, it reckons. And now they're going one step beyond that. They're now saying that farts from meat eaters are now responsible for more emissions. And they're saying the greenhouse gas emissions of vegans represent 25% of those of heavy meat consumers in CO2 equivalency.
God, I've known a few vegetarians. They'd fart a lot. Vegetarians do fart a lot, but it's not the amount of farts they produce; it's the content. So there are more greenhouse gases in meat eaters.
In meat farts, apparently.
Meat eating farts, yeah.
Apparently, that's the argument. And I'm not being funny, but I could have a nice bacon sandwich, and I know bacon's not good for me because I know it's processed crap, but it is so tasty. But I could have a gammon joint, I could have a beef burger, I could have a steak. I don't find they particularly make me fart.
No.
If I have a big Christmas dinner, it's when I suddenly have a roast dinner that has broccoli, parsnips, carrots, and maybe another on it. That seems to be when I find that I'm more inclined towards farting.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
guess we are having a conversation.
No, but it is true.
Farting.
Yeah, I would suspect that is the experience of everybody else out there. It's like if you think, I probably wouldn't, but I'm going to have tonight. I'm going to have a vegetable curry, and with loads of pulses and beans and stuff like that in it. I tell you what, unless you kept the door open, you probably. Well, there was actually a case of a guy who gassed himself, wasn't there? Yeah. Do you remember that? No, there was a case of this Indian guy who he was a single guy who lived alone, and he only lived in a very small little apartment. It was one of these kind of I don't know what you call it, single person's dwelling apartment. Everything was in one room. And they found him dead, and they worked out he'd actually gassed himself by the farts had been trapped in the room to such an extent that he died. I mean, that's obviously rare, but this whole thing is, they never stop with this agenda. And you're right with the date. It's all tied into this sustainability goals that take us to 2030 and beyond even. And they will not stop with it. They will not stop. And if they can't get you one way, they'll get another. But I don't know if you go to the supermarket, all supermarkets now have a non-meat section. Why people who don't eat meat want things to look like meat.
Oh, that's my big peeve.
Yeah.
That is my pet peeve.
But there's no fucker buying anything from that section. And if you go around to the drastically reduced before we throw it in the bin section, it's all the shit that was in that section the week before. Because no fucker wants it.
No, nobody does. Nobody does. I remember, and I'm going to do it again, but back when there was the shortages and they're running out of toilet rolls, and there was the shortages because of the whole COVID crap. And you'd walk along the supermarket shelves, empty. Meat replacement, not quite meat, full to the brim. And then you'd walk along a bit further and you'd have the alcohol empty. And then Corona. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was never an official thing, but nobody would buy Corona beer because
Corona beer. Yeah,
it was literally this shelf was stocked with the stuff.
I must admit, I've never looked along the shelves in the supermarket of wine or anything and thought, do you know what? I'd like a nice non-alcoholic bottle of Merlot.
I hate.
Why? What's the fucking point of that? It tastes nice, does it?
No, it doesn't taste nice.
No, it doesn't.
And I never got the other one either. So I can say that because I've never understood alcoholic lemonade. If you want it to taste like lemonade, drink lemonade. If you want it to taste like alcohol, drink alcohol. And if you're drinking alcohol, don't take the alcohol out of it because that's just stupid.
But it's mental. Non-alcoholic beer. All right. There is the kind of case that you go to somebody's party or whatever, and you've got to drive home, so you think,
soft drinks.
yeah, all right, but and some non-alcoholic beers don't actually. They do taste pretty beery. I think they've got that one. They've nailed that one. But I'd always consider the option 3 is get a taxi.
Yeah.
Get a taxi.
I kind of always went with option 4, never learn to drive, and you can never
learn to drive. So somebody's always got to take you home, or you get a taxi.
You can never be the designated driver if you can't drive.
No, you can't.
It worked for me for 24 years.
That every time, yeah. Yeah. Cunning plan, that.
Although, to be fair, it's nonsense anyway, because my other half never drunk. But
yeah, well, you do get people who don't drink.
I never believed him. The doctors would never believe him, but he did not like it, and he just didn't drink. I remember taking him, or we went round the whiskey distillery once, and he was literally stumbling around on the fumes because he didn't drink. He just couldn't stomach
handle it. Yeah.
Are you serious or not? But I've no reason to suspect he was fucking around.
Drinking, yeah, it's just from the very atmosphere. Yeah.
And then they gave him a taste, and he decided that he'd put water to it to make it less strong, and then realised it just made twice as much.
You've got twice as much.
You could have given it to me before you diluted it and made it horrible.
Yeah, you just increase the volume.
I don't like it. You could have just given it to me before you added the water.
You appreciate a whiskey.
I would have ate it fine.
Yeah.
Ate it fine. I'd have drunk it fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's. But there seem to be so many of these sort of bodies. These they're so addicted to this shit. They're so addicted to this agenda that they cannot break free of it. It's like their very existence. Their very existence do depend on it. If you're in, I don't know, the some council for the reduction of animal CO2, then you don't really have any other choice. You've got to advocate for this, because otherwise you'd be out of a job, or you'd lose all your funding. So therefore you go along with it. And I think that's the case in a lot of things. It's just a collection of people who think that they're doing the right thing. And then, so you've got this group that think they're doing the right thing, and they all feed off each other until you've got this, science says this, the current opinion is, current opinion among people who's living it is to have that opinion. So, it is.
It's funny because my dad's diabetic. It was more to do with late onset, basically. So it's more to do with his age, and he's got problems with his kidneys, which I don't remember how that started. I think he had a kidney stone, and I think they damaged one of them in that sense. But he's got 2 different diet sheets, and everything he's allowed to eat on one, he's not allowed to eat on the other. But and then it goes on further, because then he ends up with more than one diet sheet for the same condition, and they completely disagree with each other.
Wow.
And he's got this mental picture, and he describes it every time, but he's got this mental picture of it being these 2 young girls. I don't know why it's girls, maybe that's a sexist thing, I don't know. But it's these 2 young girls that went all the way through college together and hated each other. And they've now got into the point of doing this, and they both think they know better. So they're both putting their own ideas down.
Yeah, I'll show her.
I won't agree with her, and she's wrong.
Yeah, wrong.
This is what it is.
Yeah, they're kind of a dietary rivalry. Yeah.
But the other thing I was thinking earlier, to get back to the animals and the farting cows and all this. My father-in-law pretty much watches the BBC or watches whatever the news says. So they tell him Russia's invaded Ukraine and those damn pesky Russians. Not the paraphrasing again. They tell him that there's problems with steel shortages because the Mariupol Steelworks and all this sort of thing. And that'd be why you're not getting your steel in. No, they're just late because they were waiting for delivery. Yeah, but they're waiting for delivery because it's probably coming from Ukraine and those damn Russians. And then the COVID. Oh, I need to book up my booster. Will you book it up for me? No. I'm not booking it for you. I refuse to book it for you.
Time to get it.
And then it goes on a thing. But we need to do something about cow farting. That's ridiculous. What about the herds of buffalo on the American plains back in the day?
Yeah.
Why do we dance like more of them than we have in a domestic cow herd?
Yeah, they're more dangerous. Yeah, it's cows.
So even people that do follow the narrative and believe all of it, there is always something that will make them think, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. They've had a damn good go at chickens over the years. They really don't like chickens because obviously, I mean, that's probably the most eaten meat on earth now, chicken. And so that's coming for an awful lot of stick. And you know, the constant banging up it comes up every year, but bird flu comes up every single year now. Oh, there's bird flu. We've got to slaughter all this flock. Oh, there's bird flu. Oh, we've got to slaughter all this flock. To the point where eventually farmers can't afford to replace their flock, you know, and they go out of business. Yeah, there are many, many ways of impinging upon poor farmers who are at the end of the day only trying to make a bloody living.
Yeah.
But you can't really recover it. You can't really recover it if you've been a poultry farmer your whole life and you've been forced out of business. Very difficult to do anything else. You know, I'm going to start again as a choreographer. You know, it's not a viable career option anymore. You know,
and that's the thing in this one in France, because there's all the things they've put on the farmers over there, which I think is worse than we've even got over here. All the restrictions they've shoved on them, and now they're telling their customers not to buy their product
directly. Yeah, oh, don't buy it.
Don't eat it.
No. So little by little, you know, they're chipping away at this whole thing, and trying to force us all into being vegetarians. I mean, vegetables are good for you. I enjoy a vegetable. You know, I pretty much have vegetables with every meal. But I do like a bit of meat. You know, meat's nice. Yeah. And there's no way you can replace meat with some of this like meat stuff. It's just not the same. It's like we went through a phase of buying corn for some reason. Jack said, let's try some corn. And it was corn mince. It's nothing like mince. It's nothing like proper mince at all. It's bland. It's colourless or pale. It just isn't the same. No. And I don't see why we should not enjoy meat.
No.
It's, you know, we should. Why should we all be forced into this dietary concentration camp where we all have to just take the rations that we're given? But that's exactly what they want us to do. I mean, and they're trying it with carbon credits. You know, we apply carbon credit. We're going to apply carbon credits to meals, and that will restrict you. You know, you have meat once a month or something like that. Well, why? Why do you want to do this to us? You know what I mean? Oh, we're saving the planet.
But you're not.
You're not. You're not. Because you're taking them carbon credits and selling them.
Yeah. Yes. But even if you ignore all of that, even if you take it at the pure surface level, let's say that carbon dioxide is destroying the planet. It's not, but let's say it is. Let's say that by bringing meat consumption down, energy consumption down, by not driving your cars so much, by staying in your 15-minute cities, you'll be reducing the CO2 in the atmosphere. Every bit that you've reduced, they've just, one, put back in the atmosphere to service AI, and two, put back in the atmosphere by firing fucking weapons of war at each other.
Well, indeed. And you don't see many eco-friendly tanks, do you?
There aren't net zero tanks. There aren't electric missile launchers.
No. Well, no. And one bloody volcano erupts and it wipes out.
It wipes it all out anyway.
Wipes out, everything that you've ever tried to scrimp and scrape and pinch little bits of carbon from here and there and the other by people sitting in the dark, shivering, eating lettuce.
Yeah.
I mean, no. To me, it's almost sadistic. It has this Big Brother feel of it that you just sit there in your grey boiler suit eating slop, feeling miserable. I don't know. I refuse to be kowtowed by these people, and I will fight for meat and fight for and as I suspect most people do. Most people want to carry on enjoying the things that they've enjoyed.
Yeah.
And like you said, they come out and say, "Oh, bacon. Well, bacon's carcinogenic, isn't it? Ooh, I can't eat bacon." I'll take the risk. You know what I mean? I'll take the risk. I love a bacon sandwich. I love a bit of bacon. And who doesn't like bacon? You know the difference between Earth and every other planet in the solar system? Bacon. We have bacon, and all the other planets in the solar system don't. That makes us better than them, as far as I'm concerned. It's a better place to live because of bacon. I'm a great fan of bacon. There you go. But yeah, more nonsense, Alex.
It's more nonsense, and it's more a thing, and that's what I don't mean to get into it, but that's what's without even getting into the nonsense of the carbon credit systems and the fact that, like you say, they're just paying somewhere else to do something in Italy.
We want you to give up sheep farming and plant trees, and we'll and if you plant trees, we'll give you the money for planting trees. And what we're going to do with that will give us so many carbon credits, which we can then give to some billionaire so that they can use your pollution instead of theirs. Right? So how have we reduced pollution? You've just moved it about. That's what you've done. You've moved it about. You've moved it from me to him. And I saw the idea this mooted about carbon credits for cars. If you choose to, if you drive less, you can take your carbon credits and sell it to someone who can drive more. So how does that cancel out any of the supposed emissions?
Can I trade my carbon credits for not having a car and not being able to drive for more bacon?
Yeah, swap it for bacon. 2 seconds. The dog wants to go on the settee and she's whining because she's a baby.
Yeah.
Wait 2 seconds.
No, I don't really think anything in the idea makes any sense, but I would go on that if I can trade my not driving carbon credits for more bacon or more alcohol or more
alcohol and bacon.
I do want alcoholic bacon. No, I don't know that.
Oh, great.
I do like whiskey and a cup of tea, but not really in a bacon sandwich.
Oh yeah, what, whiskey in tea?
Yeah,
or a whiskey and a tea?
Either really, but in tea I was talking about. To be honest, it usually starts out as a whiskey and a tea, and then I get halfway through and tip it in the tea. But
yeah,
I blame my ex. Well, he wasn't really my boss; he was one of the reps. But he'd always start. It got towards Christmas. He'd always sort of bring in the whiskey and start doing Irish coffees. But I never drank coffee, see. So it started going in the tea.
Whiskey
this isn't work when we're working, but anyway.
Again, the world has changed so much, because it wasn't that many years ago that I remember going for a pint at lunchtime.
Yeah,
that was a regular thing. Coming down the pub at lunchtime. Oh my God! Now that's a hanging offence.
You're not allowed to do that anymore. Oh dear.
No, God, no. That's classed as drinking at work.
It's not at work. It's your lunch break.
Yeah, but you're coming back to work, aren't you? And therefore you're bringing that alcohol with you, and that's going to affect your performance. Oh, no, that is a no-no now.
If I do a t-shirt, when I actually did many t-shirts nowadays, it's more wrestling ring stuff. But I was always straighter when I was pissed. It was never straight when I was sober, but it was always straight when I was drunk. I can find my way anywhere when I'm drunk.
Yeah. There's a certain, in fact, I watched Top Gear do this. I watched Top Gear prove this. There is a certain level of alcohol that actually improves your performance at anything. But once you get to a certain level above that, it drops off significantly. You know, it's like the difference between being just slightly drunk and completely shit-faced. You know, when you're completely shit-faced, finding the door is bad enough, you know, which I've found out on many occasions. The door frame seems to have a vendetta against me.
Yeah.
But when you're just slightly drunk, I don't know if it's psychological, but they proved it. And they put they went through these simulated driving test things, you know, where you're actually driving along, but you're not in a car. You're watching a screen and everything. And hazard awareness went up, and sort of all sorts of factors actually improved with a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
So by not allowing people to drink at lunchtime, I think that you're missing out on that little bit of performance.
Because you don't get enough time in a lunch break to get shit faced. So
you certainly don't know
the improved performance level.
No,
but I definitely can find my way better, because I went out one of the first protests or whatever I came up to, and I was staying in Glasgow, and I found this little folk bar thing. So I went off to this little folk music bar, and it took me about an hour to find the thing, because I went this way and that way and Google Maps and everything, and I kept getting lost, and whatever, I found it. Didn't think anything more of it. It got to the point of the evening when it was, well, you pick one. You tell me which one I should try next to the baby on the bar, because they had all the whiskies. Fatal. And I gone through the ones I liked, and it was like, well, if you recommend one, give me anything that's a Speyside or a Highland, and Lowland at a push, but just not something too peaty. And yeah, just give me a trial one. And when I came out of there and decided I was going back, I walked straight back to the hotel without batting an eyelid, without even thinking about it.
Navigating back,
straight there. And I didn't go the way it wasn't that I went back because I knew the way I'd come, because I went straight back, not the long round meandering way it took me to get there.
You must have a subconscious sat nav that knew the way.
When I don't think about it.
Right, I'm being distracted by a ladybird.
Oh,
There's a ladybird flying around. It's obviously come in and hibernated, and it's decided now's the time to wake up. And now it's walking around the inside of the light. So, sorry, completely. But that's a good sign. I can't wait for winter to be. I absolutely hate winter. I'm a creature of summer. I like my favorite mode of dress is like t-shirt and shorts. You know, flip flops. That's me. I could quite happily live without winter. In all respects, there's nothing about winter. I've known people who said, "Oh, I like winter because you can get your nice big coat on and you're all wrapped up and warm and everything." Yeah, it's not as nice as summer, though, is it? Oh, it is. It's better. Yeah. It's grey and it's miserable. It's raining and it's fucking shit. I don't know. I don't
I'm
understand.
not so fond, since I had the problems with my roof, I'm not so fond as rain and wind as I used to be.
No.
But I used to love it to be a little windy and rainy. When I
You
didn't have
look
to
at
think
it.
about whether it was coming in the roof or anything like that. I used to love walking around in that sort of weather, autumny sort of weather.
Autumn's all right. You know, autumn's not too bad as long as it's not freezing and sideways rain. Yeah, to me, there's nothing attractive whatsoever about cold. I don't like being cold. I don't like being wet. I don't like being miserable. And some people say, yeah, but it's great. It's like, bracing, and you can force your way through the storm and come home frozen to the bone, like the fire.
Yeah, but you come home and you come into the warm, and it's not so much.
Yeah, that's what the bit you enjoy.
Warm,
yeah,
cozy. Or you can jump into bed and it's cozy, and you can pull the quilt up and your blanket up, because I got a quilt and a blanket nowadays. But
I feel the cold a lot more. I never used to actually. Strangely enough, even though I don't like the cold, I never used to feel the cold that much. I used to go fishing when it was snowing. Fishing when it was, and I didn't really care about the cold. But I'd much rather go fishing when it was a nice sunny day. You know what I mean? It's a lot nicer. But I don't know how we got onto this subject, but yeah.
The only time I ever really did that was a bank holiday Monday, and we used to do they had a sealed knot weekend where I used to volunteer at Basing House. And this one Monday I was doing the car park, so you just stood in the car park, parking the cars and directing them and all that. And it was hammering down all day, and I was drenched to the skin, and then walked back to the station, got on the train, sat on the train in the wet, got back to Swindon, walked home in the thing, and I could not get warm. Nothing I did would get warm. I got in the bath, it just didn't work. I was under the quilt, and nothing would get me warm for about 5 or 6 hours. But other than that, I don't mind the cold. I'm more of a cold person than too hot. Yeah, that was chill to the bone. That was.
Yeah, chill to the bone. Yeah. Yeah, which is a thing. You can literally get that cold that you just cannot get warm.
Yeah.
Now, and obviously, and Jackie likes to sit and sizzle. She'll sit out in the sun for hours, even more than I like. I mean, I like it warm, and I like to be around in the warm and everything, but I'm not a sit and sizzler. You know, I mean, occasionally she'll turn over and I might baste her a bit. That's about that. Yeah, just baste me. And that's what she enjoys doing more than anything else. But it's the fact that she has a lot of spinal problems and skeletal problems, and she finds it really good for her. It frees her up. Whereas when you're cold, you tend to be more tense and more I don't know, more hunched or whatever. I don't know. But there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want me to do my last one?
Yeah, all right. I'll probably best stop talking about the weather.
I just like wherever we go. This is the great thing about this program. It's the segues. The segues are more interesting than the articles, I'm sure. So
I just become aware every now and again. There's 31 people at the moment now. However many people come back on replay, listen to us to talk about the weather for 3 hours. Well, not 3 hours.
Waffling on about. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, what the bloody hell am I watching this for? As somebody said in the chat this afternoon, what have I tuned into? I think it must have been the first time they'd ever watched the Jacobites. What the fuck am I watching? What's going on? But it's like anything. You'll get used to it.
Hang around and you'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out.
And you might just learn something.
You might just learn something.
I was doing that the other day when I was arguing with those. I ended up on that bloody pro-Israeli page, and I was arguing with them all. And I had about 4 of them followed me onto my timeline. And you could tell because they just started laughing at all my posts, putting laughing emojis on all my posts. So I was going through all my posts saying, welcome at whatever their name was. Welcome to my timeline. Please stick around. You might learn something.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, that's stalking, isn't it? You know, they're just, I'm going to get her, you know. And they're always in, these fuckwits hang around in gangs.
In packs,
you know? Yeah, they do. It's because I think the more of them that cluster together, the greater the number of accumulated brain cells that there are. That's what it is. It's like they're standing very close together with their heads pressed together. I'm talking about fuckwits. This is a story about Boris. Because the UK's former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, and just in case you've forgotten what he looks like, this is what he looks like. Slide one. There he is in all his glory. A kind of, I don't know, almost Trump-esque looking figure.
That image, doesn't he?
Yeah. If he was a bit more orange, you know, anyway.
So he lives in pale England, so it's probably the equivalent.
Yeah. Well, Boris has called on the UK and Europe to send non-combatant troops to Ukraine in order to show Vladimir Putin that Western nations are truly committed to Ukraine's freedom and independence. Now, he was speaking. Obviously, we're coming up on the fourth anniversary of what our media calls the invasion of Ukraine, and what sensible people call the start of the special military operation to denazify the fuckers. But Johnson said that the troops should be sent to peaceful regions in non-fighting roles. Okay. And Johnson's was kind of saying this. It was a part of a wider broadcast that he'd done for the BBC, which aired today. And so if you take the idea that this plan's going to be adopted, this policy gets picked up, then this thing that Johnson proposes would kind of make it would mean a major policy shift for the UK and also its NATO counterparts in Europe. Now, while all this has been talked about, while we're talking about sending non-combatant troops, at the same time, this coalition of the willing is still working on plans to send actual combat troops to Ukraine. And this proposal would see these non-combatant troops deployed to Ukraine. Slide 2, please, Alex. They would be deployed to police the ceasefire, says Johnson. Something that what you also said, that's something we cannot trust Russia to do. So therefore, we have to send our own troops. And he said there is no logical reason that I can see why we shouldn't send peaceful ground forces to show our support for a free and independent Ukraine. Now, in all of this, Johnson was really echoing the words of people like Mark Rutte, who's actually proposed this. So what Johnson has done is taken on being the kind of UK spokesman for this idea that even if there is a ceasefire in Ukraine, even if there is a peace settlement, we cannot trust Russia to hold it. Therefore, we need to send all of these troops in order to police it. I'm not sure that's... There isn't really such a thing as non-combatant troops. There are troops in non-combatant roles, but everybody in the army has both their sort of role and their combat role. So all troops are combat troops, really. It's just some are more frontline than others. And will these non-combatant troops be armed? Will they be riding around in non-combatant tanks? Will they be carrying non-combatant rifles? Or will they just be strolling around looking at the whatever line is drawn and saying, "Oh, make sure you don't come over here. No, we're here to police it because you can't trust the Russians, so we need to be here." I find it bizarre. That's all. It's a bit. The whole thing is a bizarre idea. Why do you need? And I can't even see that Russia would even agree to this. No. We need to flood the country with NATO troops. They're only there. They're not combatants, but we need them there. No, I don't know. What do you think?
They're in 1984, is what I think. Peacekeeping force, non-combatant troops.
Yeah. Put there by the Ministry of Truth.
Put the Ministry of Truth. Or more to the point, or maybe not, because it's NATO. It's Europe side of NATO rather than US. That's now become the Ministry of War.
Yeah, they've got
it all really at that moment where you change that name. But no, the Europe are convinced they're going to put so-called peacekeeping troops in. Russia will not agree to it. Russia will never agree to it. They've out and out said they won't agree to it. And why? Again, just like Iran, why should they? It's like Iran. They've said to them, and much as I don't want there to be a confrontation there, you've got the US saying you need to get rid of all your enriched uranium. You need to get what you've got outside the country. Not even just don't do any more. You need to get what you've got out of the country. It needs to all be gone, and you need to get rid of your entire missile program. Yeah. You've got Israel saying you need to stop enriching it. You will never be able to enrich it. You must never, ever have it in the country again, and you must get rid of your entire missile program. Yeah. And Iran saying, why should I? Why would we? Why would we?
What should we listen to you? Why should we listen to? I watched Netanyahu deliver that speech, and he was, he's basically saying, we can never allow this, and Iran should never be allowed to have any nuclear program, even for civilian purposes, and they shouldn't have a ballistic missile thing. Yeah. All Israel want is a neutered Iran. That's all they want by any means possible. I mean, they want a disarmed Iran, a weakened Iran, weak like the way that Israel likes its neighbors to be. Yeah. And there's even it's even written into US law, and I think I've been through this, and I can't remember exactly what the act was, but it's an act that says Israel should never, ever be allowed to have any less sort of capability. It's got to maintain a higher level of weapons capability and of technology capability than its neighbors. And it is America's duty under law to make sure that stays that way. And I can't remember what the act was called, but it's still in force. And that's
I get it. I've seen the maps. And I understand how inconsiderate it was of Iran to build its country where it did, right in the middle of all those US bases. Yeah. US bases that are all around it, and how inconsiderate it was for Iran to put his country there.
Yeah.
But
what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Yeah. But the whole but Boris interfering in Ukraine, the only reason it's 4 years anniversary is because Boris interfered in Ukraine. If he hadn't interfered in Ukraine, it would have been a peace settlement at the first Istanbul talks. Yeah. And it is openly admitted in mainstream now. It's openly admitted across the country, across the world now, that it was all to do with his interference.
Yeah.
This is not denying. You can't send peacekeeping troops in. It's a oxymoron, for want of a better term. They can't be both. There are no, like you say, there aren't non-combatant troops. You can send troops into a non-combatant position, but as soon as there is any tension, it won't stay a non-combatant position.
It's a backdoor way of putting troops in.
And it's cynical to think Russia's for a minute going to fall for it anymore. Russia, I feel like Russia's been too trusting with the West, even after everything.
Yeah,
I feel like they've been certainly too trusting with the US.
Keep giving
and
chances.
If they let them do that, then they might just. If they let them do that, they might just get the regime change they want, because the Russians will not put up with Putin doing that. And if Putin does that, they might just do the West job for them.
Yeah. I mean, and to base it on the grounds, the sort of cynical grounds. Well, you can't trust Russia to police any settlement. Therefore, you cannot trust Russia to stick to this agreement you've made. I think that's a bit of pot kettle black.
Very much so.
Very much so, because you haven't been able to trust the West to stick to any agreement it's made, especially with Russia, especially. We've broken every bloody thing we've ever said we were going to do. Not an inch to the east. Well, no. Well, it's not an inch, is it? It's fucking several bloody miles, isn't it? Miles and miles.
No expansion. But they didn't have one lot of expansion. They had 5 lots.
Yeah.
6, I think it is now, since the last Sweden and whatever it was came in.
Oh, yeah, they just keep expanding.
It has to be 6 lots by now.
Actually, I was reading something the other day how Finland has actually suffered from its new attitude to Russia, because Finland apparently used to get an awful lot of Russian tourists who came to swan around in Finland, and they're not coming anymore. And so Finland's economy is suffering because of that, because of this sudden change in attitude. But that's Finland for you. You can't trust the Finns.
No.
There you go.
I can't trust any of NATO, I don't think, to be honest.
You can't trust any of them, no. Pardon me, excuse me. I've drank quite a bit of lemonade.
Which kind of will bring me into my last one. Now, a story I've got's part of a wider sort of scenario, really. But this specific one is about the UK government response to Israeli football fan ban inflames tensions, says the report. And this was the whole Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters being banned from a match in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And it's back last year. But like everything, they have to analyse it and they have to bring out a report on. The report's just come out and said that the West Midlands Police, when they made the decision, relied on fake AI-generated information referencing a non-existent football match when they prepared a safety assessment that classified Maccabi Tel Aviv fans as high risk. It was used to support the force's recommendation to bar the team's supporters from a match against Aston Villa in November. And this is the whole argument, that they made their entire decision based on video evidence from a fake football match. I'm not being funny, but we spent most of our time banned from playing in Europe at one point in time because they knew what our so-called fans were capable of.
Exactly.
Don't tell me they don't know what the fans of a country can or can't do and what they will or won't do. But it's the disingenuousness about it, because this has come in the same week that there's now outcry, or manufactured outcry, from the old bloody Telegraphs and all the other ones that are showing their sponsors very clearly at the moment, because the Paralympics have allowed the Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete under their flags and have the Belarusian and Russian national anthem played if they win. And there's been obviously the outcry from Ukraine and Poland and all the fuckwits. So it's this whole idea of tensions in sport, but tension in sport that's not equally applied. And the fact, because the question is, and the suggestion's been made on the Paralympics, that the only reason they're letting them compete under their national flag is because there's been such an outcry to ban the Israelis, and rather than ban the Israelis, they let the Russians and Belarusians compete.
They've given a little bit on the other side, because
the other way.
These bans are not, as you say, they're not applied. That everyone was very quick to throw Russia out of everything. We must throw Russia out, because of, I don't know, their human rights violence. And none of that has been proved either. But and then, obviously, Israel are a special case. You can't judge Israel by the normal standards of everyday behavior because they're special. There's that. But when it comes to Maccabi Tel Aviv, they are notorious. They are notorious for violence, hatred, chanting anti-Muslims. All of this, they're well known for it. You cannot say that they based all this on the evidence of AI-generated images from one football match, because they're even known in Israel as being the most racist. They're known in Israel as being the most racist football fans. That is one of their chants. We are the most racist football fans in Israel. And their fans give Nazi salutes on the terraces. I've spoken about this, about right-wing groups in Israel, and they are one of the main, they are a linchpin of the far right in Israel. So they're known for this. They're famous for this. They openly flaunt their Nazism, basically, their far right ideology. So this is bullshit, and it is being done by Israel apologists who cannot see that Israel do anything wrong. And I think who was it lost their job over it? There was someone lost their position over it. I think it may have been the police chief in the area in Birmingham. I think it was the Birmingham police chief who was suspended or lost his job because of his attitude, this intolerable attitude that you cannot. How can you not let these Nazis march through Muslim areas? What harm could it do? No. The fuckwittery never ends, Alex. The idiocracy when it comes to Israel, those that strive, and you were reporting on this only the other week with the British Museum, taking down all references to Palestine because it might offend Israelis. It might offend Israeli tourists to see the word Palestine attributed to something that was there before their fucking country even existed, even if you take into account that it's not their country, wasn't their country anyway. It was the old Kingdom of Israel, which existed for a small period of time, and has nothing to do with the modern state of Israel.
No. In a gallery set between 1700 and 1500 BC. When Israel, the Israeli thing that they were talking about, not Israeli, but the Israelites' kingdom, the kingdom of Israel that they're talking about, was 1000 BC.
Didn't
from their
exist.
own numbers, and I haven't checked them out. That's the numbers that they were quoting, and I'm thinking,
but the problem is, it gives the impression that there's somebody living there prior to the Israelites. which is obviously wrong because it was just a barren wasteland until the Israelites came along. Well, what about all the other tribes? Yeah, well, the Canaanites and the Amalekites and the Molechs and people like all of them. What were they all doing? Just waiting. Sat there waiting for the Israelites to turn up so they could attack them. That's why Israel had to systematically destroy them all. Go now into Amalek and kill everything that fucking moves. That was the justification.
That's still the justification. They're still using that verse.
Yeah.
The fuckwits
it was used
using that verse.
Yeah, Netanyahu used that phrase.
He did.
That verse.
He did.
Yeah, at the start. So yeah, it's this whole narrative that it cannot be seen that there was any form of civilization, any form of civilization that it never existed until the Israelites got there and started to worship Baal. That's what gets me. If you read that part, if you read Exodus, every 5 fucking minutes, as soon as Moses went away for 5 minutes, he would come down and come back. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Well, we've made this golden calf and we're sacrificing kids to it. What did I tell you? I've only been away for 10 fucking minutes. And I've said this before. So, but no.
I don't know, but it is. If you read it literally as they believe it, it literally is that. They literally, I've been gone 5 fucking minutes.
All the time. All the time. What are you doing in the? Well, we've got a lovely place here. It's Gomorrah. You should go to Sodom. They're even worse over there. Bloody hell, they're terrible. Yeah. What are you doing? Just bestiality, homosexuality, slaughtering children. The usual kind of thing that we do when we're left alone. All right, okay. Yeah, I think we might have to put a stop to that. Yeah. You can't leave them alone for 5 minutes. You cannot literally leave them alone for 5 minutes, or they're turning into far right fascists, Nazis, or demon worshipping child sacrifices.
And this is the thing with the Nazi side of that. People keep saying, "Oh no, they can't be Nazis. They're Jewish," and that's considered a thing. It's impossibility, but it's not. And I might not have managed to scratch the surface enough on Starmer earlier or any of these others, but there will be links there.
Oh, goodness.
It's just a bit better hid than I had enough time to scratch.
If not so much the genealogy, but the ideology.
Ideology is there.
The ideology, that's where it lies. It's in this NATO ideology. Yeah. On which the entire EU was founded, and who loves the EU any more than Starmer? I mean, he loves that place,
Well, not quite as much as Davos, but close.
Well, no, he likes Davos a bit more, but it's very, like you say, it's a close one. Second, he's very keen on the idea.
The UK comes last in that.
Well, if he has to spend any time here. If he has to actually stay at home anyway, obviously
he just needs a ready supply of Ukrainian rent boys to make it fair.
Exactly where I was going with that. That's exactly where I was going with that. It's so shit here. I've got to spend my time with Ukrainian rent boys. Yeah. I don't know. There you go. So that was Sunday night's dose of comedy and veiled truth. I think it was truth couched in a way that you can kind of understand it in a kind of Blackadder way, which very much so. I believe that if you take away the laughs from Blackadder, what they're saying a lot of the time is pretty damn serious. pretty,
Oh, it is, yeah.
not pretty parts of history whatsoever. So yeah. Okay.
We started with unwanted and unwelcome medicine boats, which somebody needs to suggest it, because I'm sure before he goes, we could get him to call one of them Trumpy McTrumpface.
Trumpety Trumpface. Yeah. Trumpy McTrumpface, and paint a big sort of thing and a nose.
Yeah, orange and a big
Orange
thing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. But we started with medical boats that weren't wanted and walked all the way around to Ukrainian rent boys. So it's been an interesting evening. I think we've covered a fair bit of ground.
We have.
And I think we can probably call it a day there.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
So it's now Sunday evening. I'll be back at Tuesday at 9 p.m. with The Gleam in the North. Ian will be back Wednesday, I believe, at 7 p.m. with Smokem. Glenn will be back Friday with The Man in Black at 7:30. We'll be back next Sunday at 1:50 with Lone Gunman Rides Again, and Last Jacobites International at 8 p.m. So take care, and we will see you soon.
Good night.
Good night.
We are the last Jacobites, proud and free, will not be bought nor bend the knee. Like our brothers cry and freedom's flame, we rise as one and stake our claim. Oh, side by side through storm and fight, we stand as one in truth and right. From every shore we answer the call, Clan Jacobite, we rise or fall. It matters not our skin or land, but hearts as one and hand in hand. The blood we share is brave and bold, in woven dreams and legends old. Oh, side by side through storm and fight, we stand as one in truth and right. From every shore we answer the call, Clan Jacobite, we rise or fall. I am you and you are me, a thread within this tapestry. For hopes of all, for every name, we light the fire, we keep the flame. No sea can part us, nor the land. Together strong, we proudly stand. With courage, truth, and spirits high, we pledge our oath beneath the sky. Oh, side by side through storm and fight, we stand as one in truth and right. Raise the